Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day in Chautauqua County. We were supposed to have rain and thunderstorms. The sun is shining and beaming down. The world is a perfect world up here in Chautauqua County. Flowers blooming and birds chirping. Can't go wrong. Got a great program coming up. We have a past county legislator and a well-known physician, Dr. Rudy Mueller, who's going to be talking about a lot of things that affect our lifestyle and our pocketbook up here in Chautauqua County. Now we have, I must say, a lot of wonderful people who are calling in and giving us their information and questions and answers, and I appreciate that. And if you want to call in during this program anytime, this is your magic carpet into the universe. Everybody hears you and listens to you. 753-5225, anytime during this program. And this program is being aired on the 14th of July. Don't call in on the 15th, because it'll be a tape of it. 753-JACK, if you can't remember all those numbers, like jack your phone in. Okay, let's look at TV these days. The national news is not so good. Obamacare, as they like to call it, which is just utter nonsense. It's Romney Care. Romney has the same program still operating very successfully in Massachusetts, although he condemns it right and left, says he's going to do away with it immediately if he gets elected president. And the only thing questions people have is, how are they going to afford it? The Obamacare program provides for insurance for every American. There are 50 million Americans right now who have no insurance, Mr. Romney. I hope you understand that. Not in Massachusetts, where you set it up. It's a good program. It does prevent insurance companies from dumping you if you get ill. It prevents them from not taking you if you are ill. It extends the period of time your children can have insurance. It's got a lot of wonderful factors, and it requires you to buy insurance if you can. If you can't, the government will cover the expense of buying the insurance for you. So, and of course, everybody wonders why we have to have an insurance company. Well, that's a good question. They peel off 30% of all the profits to start with of your medical costs in this country. We're the only country that does things this way, that gives $1 trillion to the insurance company to insure your health. I can't believe this is still going on. But they pay the Congress off billions, millions, and billions of dollars. Yeah, they want to make sure this program stays in place, because they get $1 trillion a year almost out of it. Can't go wrong. comes out of our health care, of course. I can't understand why Romney is so dedicated to wiping out our health care program. It's also it's an Affordable Care Act, incidentally. It means that people will be able to afford their health care. You know that families are paying $11,000 for an insurance policy. It's insane right now. And again, we're the only country in the world that does things this way. Other countries just have a national health care program like Medicaid. Maybe that'll be our possibly a way around this insanity of paying all this money out to the health care program insurance companies. And incidentally, they're trying to do away with our hospital here in the county level. And the governor just announced yesterday or the day before that he's going to send millions and millions of dollars to health care centers, private centers. The public centers aren't going to get a hunk of this dough. Again, the Chautauqua County, of course, is a public health care center, and they're trying to privatize it by selling it. Goodbye, seniors. Eventually, they'll have nowhere to go if they're indigent. We have a lot of other things going on around here. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the lake. The lake is a major concern. Thank you, Andy Goodell and Kathy Young, for getting $100 million for it, or $100,000, I guess. But that's drop in the bucket, a drop in the lake. There's such a problem there. We'll talk about that with Rudy. He's got some thought on it. Albany is, of course, all bound up in itself and not really understanding what the hell's going on up here in Chautauqua County. I don't think they have a clue. I don't think most people run Albany even heard of Chautauqua County. At least we're going to have a congressman who will represent the farmlands again. We're not part of Buffalo. It changed the congressional district, and our Congressman Tom Reed right now is representing more of an agricultural setup than before. And of course, he's got somebody running against him. We'll try to get these folks on board, and maybe you have a chance to talk to them, meet them. All right, guys, enough of that. I've got some local news. I just wanted to mention the fact, and we're going to cut that short because Rudy has a lot to say, and he has been a county legislator here for years in Chautauqua County, and he has a good insight into what's going on, and he can talk about it now because he's no longer going to get whipped by the county legislative whip if he says something wrong. And then we'll have of course, John Hamels on. Doc will be talking a little bit, and we'll move right along. I wanted to just bring your attention, there is a Hospice Cup Fun Ride coming up September 1st, 2012. And you can take a 5, 20, 35, or 50-mile ride, whichever your choice is, $20 a rider, and children under 12 are free. And all this money will go to the hospice setup that we have in Chautauqua County. Hello there. There's going to be a sidewalk contest, and there's face painting and all kinds of things, free lunch for the kids, and oh boy, they have a miniature horse there, does tricks. Oh, they can't beat it. Okay, remember that, September 1st, drop around. The Richard O. Hartley Park in Lakewood, New York. Hospice Cup Ride. Bring your bike. All right, I'm going to take a brief moment for a public service announcement, and then we'll hear from John Hamels. Here you go. This is for you. What are you talking about, John?
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Well, now, we have a guy here who shoots from the hip. His name is Doc. Doc, you're on. Talk about the waste in Iraq.
Oh my God. Good morning, and good morning to our guest, Dr. Mueller. Boy, before I get to that, I just want you to know that, I don't know about these guys, but my clothes are finally dried out, and my sandals have dried out, and my hat is dried out from the Mayville parade we did. What a fun time that was. Too bad you weren't there.
I missed it.
Did you watch any of the video? It's going viral. It's all over the world. But the guys did a great job. We had a lot of fun. We're going to try it again next year. But boy, when those guys opened up, 10,000 people evaporated. I looked around and go, where'd everybody go? Okay. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but today I read the paper and it just torqued me right off. I want to just share this for a little bit with you because I don't usually get into these kinds of things, but the headlines in the Post-Journal today: auditors say billions likely wasted in Iraq work, that is. This is post-war. All right. I'm not going to talk about why we shouldn't have been there. I'm not going to talk about all the other things about the Iraq situation. But this is what torques me off, folks. $80 for a pipe fitting that should have cost $1.41. This is like the old hammer, the toilet seat, all that business. It's still going on. $51 billion of U.S. tax dollar payers wasted, they figure. Estimate, lowball, all right? That's what they're saying right now. They said well, I don't know what the guy, the auditor, whatever his name is, the big guy that checks all the money here. I don't have my glasses on right now, but said this is just an estimate. They will never really know how much was actually wasted. All right, this is getting old, folks, and I'll tell you why this torques me off. As you know, I came from the world of education, Reed, and you talk a lot about senior services. We say, all right, they wasted all this money, but that money has been taken away from things that we normally would get. And for instance, in education, we used to get these things called title grants, special monies to help children in poverty, for safety or whatever it is. Those have all been evaporated. Those were things that we used to count on to provide special programs for kids, special conferences or workshops or bringing guest speakers for kids and so forth. Gone. I'm a fire commissioner, all right? I've been trying to get a FEMA grant, and so is everybody else around the world, around our country. That's evaporated. I think there was like 40,000 applications, and they only funded 1,000 this past year. All right, $51 billion wasted somewhere else where it could be in, helping our local situations. The infrastructure. Have you been looking at the bridges in our area lately, or our roads? A lot of that's federal money that's not flowing back into our area. And then I won't even go into all the things that Reed talks about, but senior programs. He talks about the Office for the Aging being slashed, what was it, by 50%, 40%?
Murdering them, not to mention inflation. Killing our seniors' Social Security.
Right, and a lot of times we don't realize that these kinds of things are affecting us here locally because we don't see how the money flows. A lot of times the money comes through the federal government, down through state agencies, then through grants to the local agencies and so forth. So folks, get on the phone, get mad, get angry. We do good things for other countries, but when we see waste and greed, that continues to go on in these situations, I think it's time to stop. Back to you, Reed.
How about Afghanistan? I mean, we're still there. It's costing us trillions there.
That's next week.
Next week, yeah.
Hey, but I do want to say one thing real quick before I go. Starting at 11 o'clock today, if you've got time, which you will, Reed, or anyone else that's listening, today only, as Reed would say, the Italian Festival over at St. James. Bill and I will be playing. Half the parish is Irish, half of it's Italian. We're the Irish guys will be playing on stage from 11 to 1, but the festival goes all on to the late hours tonight over at St. James in Jamestown.
In Jamestown. St. James and Jamestown. That's easy to remember. All right, so that's between 1 and what?
It starts at 11.
11 to...
it goes into the evening.
Okay.
All kinds of activities.
Okay, great. Now probably have, let's see, it's Irish American, Irish Italian. They probably have corned beef, which is not
sausage,
pizza pie. Corned beef is not even Italian, not even Irish,
right.
not even Irish. They don't eat it in Ireland.
I like it.
I love it. Okay, guys, enough of that. Talking about the government waste, you could go on. We could do several programs on that, Rudy. You know that? It's easy to do.